Obviously, they'll be ranked throughout the whole year.
Your starting pitcher is not getting through 5 innings. You're basically strictly relying on these guys not burning out. So, gonna bring it up to you, Derek. Obviously, you could go first, give you a thoughtful answer. I will rebuttal and or agree with you, or I'll just call you stupid.
Okay.
Derek and Dean. MLB first weekend was a huge success. A lot of great baseball was being played. Would love to ask you a question. Would you rather have a top 5 rotation and a bottom 10 bullpen, or a top 5 bullpen and a bottom 10 rotation?
Nicky from the Bronx is one of the best questions you ever asked.
Nikki from the Bronx knows how to put it out there. I appreciate it, Nikki. As always, we're going to answer it to the best of our ability. At least I am. Derek's going to be stupid and try to do his little pinwheel method. But let's see. What are you thinking?
I gotta go bullpen. I'm going bullpen purely off the standpoint of this. Obviously, starting pitchers are huge. They start off the game. But if you have like an outstanding bullpen, like if you have a Class a Josh Hader, I'm thinking like, well, in my head, I'm thinking of like the best possible. A Hader, a Blake Treinen, a Weaver, a Devin Williams, like all into one rotation. Obviously, what I just listed off was an absolute god squad of bullpen. But if you have the best bullpen, that pitching staff can get you through a game. Obviously, they'll be ringed throughout the whole year, but those pitchers can get you through a game. And starting pitchers, if you don't have starting pitchers are gonna get Tommy John after fucking a week or so. If you have, say, the best pitchers in the league, and you have a horrible bullpen, you're not relying on the bullpen. You need your starter to go 7+ innings, and that doesn't happen a lot anymore. Normally, pitchers get yanked in the 6th, maybe in the 5th, because in the past years we've seen a lot of no hitters, and they're not happening much anymore because they're savoring pitchers' arms, which makes sense. It's smart, but I think the best is probably the bullpen.
Okay. And this is where the parody begins. I am going to go the complete opposite. I think I would much rather have a top 5 star. Did he say top 5 or top 10? Just want to clarify before I answer. Top 5. I'd much rather have a top 5 rotation and a bottom 10 bullpen for multiple reasons. One, if you have a shit rotation, that means the majority of the time your starting pitcher is not getting through 5 innings. It's really bad. You are going to burn out your bullpen extremely quickly, no matter how good they are, right? That's number one. And as the season goes on, and as the days get longer, and as the games get longer, especially come October, your bullpen is going to be absolutely deteriorated and shot, and you're no longer going to be able to maintain that sort of pitching staff. That's just how it's going to be. Number two, if you have a good rotation in today's MLB, that means they're all going at least 6 innings, which is phenomenal in today's MLB. And especially where there's so much talent and you can have extra roster spots now. I think it's 26 come the end of the year. You can implement another long reliever, or you can implement another reliever in there, and you can piece together the last 3 innings of a game. It doesn't matter how many pitchers you use. You won't burn them out, because if you only put in pitchers for like two-thirds of an inning, you're constantly moving the rotation through. You can piece together 3 innings of baseball from your reliever perspective rather than having to piece together 5 from your bullpen. That is a huge difference.
I'm only saying this because of this. Is obviously a bullpen, you have a lot of, I don't know the exact amount off the top of my head. Is it 7 in the bullpen?
What?
7 total in the bullpen. You're allowed to have in the bullpen. Or is it 8?
You can have whatever your roster or depth chart offers, right? So, for example, the Yankees themselves have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in the bullpen.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure most teams range from 7 to 8.
Most teams do, and that depends on how many people you want on your bench as well. Because come the playoffs, you're probably going to have 9 or 10 in the bullpen.
So the reason why I'm saying, and also there's another reason why I'm saying bullpen is that there is a thing in the bullpen that's called a long term reliever, who is in for 1 to 3 innings or somewhere around that range, which can get you through a game. If you have a bottom 10 starting rotation, they're gonna guarantee get you through at least 3 innings.
Yeah, but here's the issue, Derek, because if you have a bottom five rotation, most of the time those types of teams are also going to be implementing starters, right? So some of those games, maybe even two or three of those games of your starters, they're only going to go 3 or 4 innings. So that's even more taxing to your bullpen that has to put on more innings on their arms. You're getting into a situation where you're overworking your bullpen, and then come playoff time, if you do make the playoffs, you're basically strictly relying on these guys not burning out, which is a very tough task, especially in the playoffs when every single out is taxing on your mental, on your arm, and you're facing the best hitters in the world. Which is why I think you take length in starting pitching. You take better starting pitching over relievers.
To that point, I do get it to where they are gonna obviously, if say like Manuel Clase is pitching for fucking 3 innings and then he has to pitch the next day, that would be brutal. I'm not saying that wouldn't, but how I see it is this: like, say you have a Clase in for 2 innings, right? He starts up to get. You say like your starting pitcher gets yanked. Let's Dustin May, for example. Dustin May comes in, 3 innings, three shitty innings, he gets yanked. Obviously, Clase being a closer comes in, he comes in for 3 innings.
To your exact point, this exact situation happened with the Cleveland Guardians last year. Clase was overworked in the Yankee series, and he was giving up home runs and runs left and right, where he didn't do that all regular season. If you have to rely on your bullpens, and this is a fact, the Cleveland in the not the Indians, Cleveland Guardians had a top two bullpen in the major leagues. Major leagues. Bad voice crack right there. My voice is shot. They had a top two bullpen in the major leagues. Top two. But their starters in the Yankees series didn't go longer than 4 innings. So by the end of the series, their bullpen was completely shot, and the Yankees were teeing off of them. Whether it was Stanton, whether it was Judge, whether it was Wells, they were completely teeing off of them. I get what you're saying, and it works in the regular season. It works. You can definitely maintain a regular season with a top five bullpen and a bottom tier starting pitching staff, but come playoff time, you will not go far.
All right, to that point, I agree with you. Regular season, yes, it will work out very well. Postseason, I don't think it's impossible. I think it's just very difficult. You're starting like because I didn't even like honestly think of that when I was saying Class A. That last year they did have a top two, and then the Yankees absolutely reamed that bullpen. But in that scenario, though, at the time, the Yankees were on fire. So that's hard to like put that
You,
into perspective.
it is because in the playoffs, you're going against the best teams. You're
Yes.
going against the best hitting. So if your bullpen is even a little tired and you're throwing guys out there, the Yankees actually did the same exact thing with Luke Weaver, too. They were using him every game, and then come the Dodgers series, they had to pull back because he was completely shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a tough thing to look about, but in playoff time, which is where all that matters, you're going to benefit from having a longer end rotation, and you're going to benefit from trusting your starters to go deeper in games.
All right. So what we could both agree upon is that it would work in the regular season, but come postseason is where the issue lies for the bullpen.
Yes, and I think the Cleveland Guardians and I think the Tampa Bay Rays are two perfect examples of that, where they get real analytical, where they get real scrappy because they don't have the money and they don't have the resources to go out there and get great starting pitching. And they put together these bullpen pieces that are great, mind you, but then come playoff time, they're completely burnt out and you're using them every single game, and teams really catch up to it, especially come playoff time when you have the best hitters and you're going to 7 game series. And if those hitters go against the same pitcher 4 times in a 7-game series, they have a better advantage of hitting them.
That's fair. All right, that's fair. All right,
That's my point.
that's a
But
fair point to make.
nonetheless, that was a good conversation. That was a good argument. Nikki,